Welcome in, Renegades. Now, what craziness just happened right now in crypto? Why are we at bear market prices in the bull market? Well, we're going to look and see why. A little bit about what is happening in the market today. We're going to look and learn what CKB is. But there's actually a positive spin on this because I've been waiting for a good price to actually get into crypto, and having close to these low prices in the bull market is unprecedented. So I think this could be one of our last dips, because what we were waiting for is essentially Bitcoin to have its major correction. It just went up to 20,000, 120,000, and then kind of sat there for a while, bounced down to about 113, 110. And now we're seeing an actual correction for Bitcoin, which is going to be good to open up, because people were just putting their money in Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's where the money was at. There was no money in altcoins right now. So that's what's happening right now, is the money is going to start to shift from Bitcoin to Ethereum, but there's going to be pain before that happens. So while this is happening, it's going to be a lot of pain. I'm telling you, this is the exact move that we're waiting for, is for Bitcoin to kind of go stagnant. Ethereum already had its, big pump, but we're going to see another big run for these altcoins. So just give me 1 second. I got to do something here, and then we will get right into this. We're going to learn about basically a lot of the statistics for CKB today, because I'm an analytics guy, and I want to look at certain factors that CKB has, because that's what I do with any crypto. We're going to look and see what the benefits are of CKB, and then we're going to kind of break down some of the technicals with exchanges, where it's kind of listed, kind of break down that technical part of CKB right now, because that's where the money is to be made. Like, it has a lot of interesting features that are really good for blockchain and a crypto that I would look for a long-term investment. But as for some of the technicals and making some money, it's also there as well. So I want to go into both of those things. Just give me a second. I'm getting out of the charts, which I've been in. I've been doing a lot of leverage trading. I got a CKB leverage trade in right now. But essentially, I just have to share this link over on Twitter and then get going. I hope you guys had a good week. It's been a good week for me. I won a contest at work last month for not last month, the month before, for the best QA scores. I got second in the whole thing. So they took us bowling today. I got paid to go bowling. That was pretty dope. Our boss was there. He's on a bowling league. So we got to either do mini golf or bowling. We all chose bowling. It was really fun. Just got into a new apartment with my brother. So that's pretty cool as well. We're going to be moving out of here. I'm going to be moving out of here. We're going to be moving into a 2-bedroom apartment. It's got a hot tub, a pool table. So that's pretty dope as well. Things are going good over here. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope things are prospering in your life. Even though it's a bull market, we're not making a lot of money. That's why you just got to keep grinding, guys, and learning about these cryptos, utilizing some of the features that have, and just stacking your bags up. And that's what it's all about when the prices go down like this, for sure. So where is that post? Okay, I guess it didn't post. Anyway, let's get to this video. So I want to share a couple things. We're going to talk about CKB as a whole, and then I want to go into those interesting technicals I found, because we're really trying to, not that one. Oops. We're trying to figure out what is going to be happening in the market. So let's first learn about CKB a little bit. Common knowledge base. So the crypto CKB called CK Bytes. So essentially, we'll go into exactly what it is, but what does it offer? Well, it offers supreme security and decentralization. CKB leverages the battle-tested proof of work, which means you can mine CKB, like with Bitcoin back in the day, but you can do it with just a couple miners, and it doesn't cost you 20 grand a miner. The proof of work consensus algorithm to ensure exceptional security and decentralization under all conditions. It is truly decentralized, permissionless, and uniquely resistant to capture by adversarial actors. So essentially the reason we're looking into this is because CKB as a whole it basically has a network that uses each CKB as a byte, and it can use storage, right? So it also has this DAO, because if you participate in staking, you can actually earn your share of the total mining and the CKB from the DAO. So it's actually a really cool little operation that they have here. I hope that I explained that as well as I meant to. But the unmatched flexibility, we'll go more into that later. I'll explain it better later. Unmatched flexibility and interoperability. This is what I really like about cryptos. Any crypto that especially can integrate with Bitcoin, because it's the biggest crypto out there. And CKB actually has its own virtual machine, just like Ethereum has its virtual machine. It's a very sound crypto. When I'm doing more research into this, I'm finding a lot of the things that I'm really looking in for. And I did some research on this, but I'm really starting to dig deep now. CKB is the only blockchain on the market that supports all cryptographic primitives. It can seamlessly interoperate with all heterogeneous blockchains and anchor all types of sidechains, state channels, and layer 2 networks. Moreover, it comes with protocol level account abstraction by default, enabling decentralized applications, boasting unmatched user experience. So what this is saying is it can actually support the native, the primitive network. So that's pretty interesting, because that kind of makes it stand out from the other cryptos. Using like threshold signing, which is awesome, but using the primitive blockchain the way that it does and the way it interoperates is pretty. This is what one thing that really got me actually interested in CKB is the way not only that it does integrate with these other cryptos for interoperability, but it does it in a way that is basically native. It's really cool. Utility-driven tokenomics. CKB leverages a novel tokenomic model that aligns the interests of all Nervos participants and stakeholders. It ensures the miners are paid for providing security to the network in perpetuity. So essentially, this being a proof of work model, when CKB is at low prices, you might be kind of breaking even with mining, I've heard. Sometimes you can actually make a lot of money, but when they do the halvings and everything, because it is a proof of work, it does have a halving, right? And so essentially you make less, but if you're doing that when the market's way down, hold that CKB until the right time and just put that, electric bill or whatever, or even sell half or whatever and foot the other half, then you can, more than double your money or, make money that way. So the modular architecture of the Nervos Foundation, the CKB, the Nervos network, not the foundation. Nervos was designed as a modular blockchain network from the get-go, meaning it can scale to millions of transactions per second through many diverse layer 2 networks without sacrificing security or decentralization. CKB offers pristine security while the layer 2 networks built on top to ensure about scalability. The reason we were going through all this, I just wanted to do that really quickly, because we're going to talk about CKB as a whole a little bit more, because this crypto is really starting to interest me the more that I do research on it, and I'm able to buy at this price. So that's a reason. I'm glad this craziness happened in crypto right now, Bitcoin dunking, because this makes an absolute perfect buying opportunity. If you have been buying for the last like 3 months in crypto, you're going to be winning in the next couple of months, because we are going to see one more pump. It's going to happen. Everybody says we're going to go down 90% or we're going to go down, and that is going to happen, but we're going to have a massive pump first. We're still only in the late stages of summer. So let me, I just want to talk to you a little bit more about CKB. So here we go. Okay, I wanted to talk about the locked in state storage, and we're going to go into this a little bit more later. But I found this being one of the key factors that, it gives you incentive to lock up CKB, to use the network. This is just a really cool feature that CKB has, and it's called the lock for state storage. So now this is a unique and fundamental aspect of the Nervos network. CKB functions as a right to store data on the blockchain layer 1, the common knowledge base. Well, how does it work? Well, to store data, state, or smart contracts on the blockchain, users must lock an equivalent amount of CKB. For example, and it's kind of like staking, locking, state, same thing, whatever. For example, owning 1,000 CKB gives you the right to occupy 1,000 bytes of storage space. So it's essentially the crypto is the driving force that powers these blockchains. It really is. The crypto makes money and stuff, but they really have a function within crypto. And this one, especially CKB, it acts as storage space, as bytes. So basically, why do you lock it up? Well, it's basically state rent. So it isn't like state rent, your state's charging your rent. It's state rent because you're storing data, or the state, right? So mechanism is the state rent mechanism is a core part of the network's design to prevent state bloat, the accumulation of excessive on-chain data that can slow down and burn the network. The locked CKB is not a fee that is spent. It's a deposit that is held and can be reclaimed when the data is no longer needed. So you essentially get to store your data for free with a deposit. That's dope. I'm not gonna lie. To run the network for storage, that's crazy. This incentivizes developers and users to be efficient with their storage. So you aren't just, hey, I'm going to store anything. So that's interesting to me. Now that we know a little bit more about CKB, we're going to go into some interesting data. This data, let's see how you guys doing first. How is it better than ICP? Nobody said CKB was better or worse than ICP. They're both great cryptos, and I'm going to start branching out into other cryptos as well, like I did before. Honestly, there's a lot of cryptos. ICP is always going to be my favorite. CKB is like a close second. But I think all cryptos, and it's actually, I mean, it's hard to compare cryptos like that because I think they both have their own unique functions of things that I already like. So I don't really like to compare cryptos like that. So I wouldn't say either one's better or worse. I would just say, you know, it's whatever your preference is in crypto. That's it. Bro, no fortune company or big enterprise or any sovereignty is using CKB. Oh, this is ridiculous. High-tech nothing burger. So obviously you don't understand. We're going to go into why this is an absolute bogus comment. You guys are going to see the function and technical metrics. So we're going to go into this first, and then we're going to take a deep dive because we're looking at how much CKB is used on exchanges. I really deep dived into this. I'm a network. I'm an analytics guy. I'm a data guy. So we're going to go into the data that's going to show you why CKB is absolutely the hit. And some of you guys, you could be haters, and I'll let you have a little voice, but I'm going to show you why you're entitled to your opinion. Everybody's opinion, you know, as long as you're respectful about it, and that does push the line sometimes, then we'll let you have a voice. But I just want to show you the metrics. So I like proof. I like to show things. I like to show my work, as you would say in math. So let's just look at the addresses that have been formed on the Nervos network. Okay, CKB. Growth from 1 million to over 7 million addresses. That's over 6 million addresses in about 6 years. With a sharp 2024-2025 rise from 5 million to 7 million, just 2 million in 1 year. This shows an expanding user base. This could mirror more data points or connections in a neural network, boosting learning capacity. Well, cell counts, live cells. Rise to 1.8 million live cells since 2019, with fluctuations indicates a thriving ecosystem. This might reflect growing active neurons, enhancing the network's ability to handle complex tasks. Active address spikes to 200,000 in recent weeks. Big activity. And we've seen CKB absolutely skyrocket in price and go down when everything else is actually stagnant. So this is a crypto that I look for nice fat pumps to really make it, and it's going to absolutely skyrocket, especially we're going to go into why later. There's a few places in the world that you're really going to need to watch, and that's what's really bringing a lot of volume into CKB. And we've narrowed down some interesting metrics besides these ones as well. This kind of inspired me to go down the rabbit hole a little bit. So asset activity jumps from 55K to 415,000 since June 2025. It shows surging engagement. This might indicate increased feature interactions, making the network more dynamic. Growth from 30 million to over 210 million in knowledge size since 2019 highlights massive data accumulation. This could enhance model complexity and accuracy in neural networks. Again, that storage, that data that's being stored on there means there's a lot of CKB that has to be locked up for that. Inflation rate declined from 15% to near 0% over 48 weeks suggests stabilization. Ooh, this might reflect reduced overfitting in a maturing neural network. So that's good. If the inflation is going down, it's going to become deflationary with the mining. So that will be really good. Liquidity rise from 10 billion to over 50 billion since 2019 points to more resources. This could symbolize increased computational power for larger neural models. So, and then you can look at the charts here, cell count, unique addresses just skyrocketing up. You know what I mean? So this is the kind of thing we want to see. Liquidity just steady rising, asset activity steady rising, knowledge size, it's on a constant growth. So that means the network is being utilized a lot more with certain spikes in the bull runs. So, and this has been kind of a crazy little bull run. Not going to lie to you. So we're going to get into some charts and stuff later, but I want to talk a little bit about these price metrics first, because this was very interesting to me, and this is my jam. This is what I thrive in. So essentially, so there's a significant amount of CKB locked in exchanges. I can't come up with an exact amount, but it looks like there is about 47.1 to 47.2 billion CKB in circulation right now. We've had a 24-hour trading volume that fluctuates from $25 to $42 million. So the top trading pairs for CKB, and this is very interesting to see, is actually even above USDT, and it's CKB KRW, the Korean won, on Upbit. So where this volume is coming from is very interesting to me. It seems like a lot of this volume is coming from Korea and these Korean exchanges on Upbit, right? So I want to track now exactly how much CKB they have on Upbit. Now, if we look at the amount of CKB that's locked, because I'm trying to figure out the amount of CKB that could possibly be on exchanges right now as liquid in their cold wallets and just everywhere. But right now, 5 to 8.4 billion CKB is exchanged every single day right now. So that is a crazy number. So it seems like the exchanges right now probably have about, I would say, 10 to 20% of the supply. I would think that they have 5 to 10 billion CKB over all exchanges, maybe even 20% of the supply. To be honest with you, if they have 10 billion, we're looking at about 20, a little over 20% of that supply that could be on exchanges. Now, the Nervos DAO is a core component of the CKB ecosystem and a major destination for locked CKB. It is a protocol level smart contract that allows token holders to lock their CKB and earn a share of the secondary issuance the new CKB created each year. Why it's locked? CKB's tokenomics include a secondary issuance of 1.344 billion new CKB tokens annually. This is a form of inflation. As you saw before, it actually went to net zero. So this is good. They're creating 1.344 billion, but they're also counteracting that So the inflation isn't as bad as it seems. It actually evens it out. And one day it might become deflationary. By locking CKB in the Nervos DAO, holders receive a reward that is designed to counteract this inflation. Protecting, and this is another probably reason this DAO, why it has counteracted this, mining and this new creation of CKB, protecting the value of their holdings over time. This mechanism incentivizes long-term holding and supports the overall health of the network. Well, besides that, that's in the Nervos DAO. Well, what is locked for state storage too? So if we have exactly, it looks like at least 1.344 billion if it's netted zero over a full year. I don't know exactly the mechanism for that. If it does it for a full year, if those metrics, were over time or whatever, over a short time or whatever, but the amount locked for state storage. Well, this is a unique and fundamental aspect of the Nervos network. CKB function as a right to store data on the blockchain's layer 1. So basically, we already talked about that, but there is a significant amount that is locked up to store data as well. So if we take all of this into consideration, I would say that over 50%, maybe even more of CKB's supply, if we have 20% on exchanges, let's say we have another 20% locked in the Nervos DAO, and I can't find the exact number right now. I'm going to do a little more research on this a little bit later and see if I can't narrow it down even further. But for now, I'm thinking about 20% locked in the Nervos DAO just from some calculations that I did some research on. I don't know if they're accurate or not, so I'm not going to put a lot of weight on that. But so we'll say about 40% of CKB right there. And then if we say another 10% locked for state storage, that's about 50% of the supply that is, off of there. Like I'm thinking, exchanges have, like maybe 10 billion just in cold storage. So altogether, and that's not the 5 to 8 billion that's traded per day. That's not counted. So those are the three main ones: the liquid supply, the locked in the Nervos down, and locked for state storage. For the main reasons why CKB absolutely will skyrocket. And so with all of these fundamental things that is gonna, technically make this crypto sound, because the fundamental part is the state storage. The technical part is what that does for the price and the effect of the overall network, because it's locking tokens away. It's creating more liquidity in the network, adding value to CKB. So these are the things that I look for when I am trying to understand a crypto, and we're really trying to narrow that down. So I think about 20% of the entire CKB supply is on exchanges right now. I think about 20% is in the Nervos DAO, and it might even be more. And then I would say about 10% in state storage. So if you take those into consideration, with the price being, right around 0.0048 right now, this is a good time to get into CKB. And now we're going to go and look at the charts. There's some interesting stuff with CKB. I can work with a crypto that gives me some good fundamental and technical competencies that I can, work with. And I'm a data guy. I love me some data. I want to look more into that too and find out exact numbers. Those are just my projections. Those aren't hard numbers. That's just my calculations by my research. But anyway, we have about 20 million in volume right now. This looks like, some pretty steady volume. I don't want to see it go down to that 10 million. This is telling me that there isn't big sell-offs happening right now. There's not a lot of people that are going to be selling off. So there is just a quiet accumulation in the market right now when Bitcoin dumps, because the smart people know that you buy it when it freaking goes way down. And so even over today, we've seen it go from 0.005 to 0.004. Over the last 7 days, we had this nice spike. This would be nice to see another one of them. That would make me some money on my leverage trade. But yeah, definitely looking pretty good. Really starting to leverage trade crypto. Now, we could have one more big flash wick to the downside, but I think it's pretty much up from here. So I would say this is one of the best opportunities that you have ever had in this bull market to be buying crypto. And if you're not buying crypto right now, you might want to reevaluate, because I'd be buying the dips. And I got bored in crypto for a while. But now when I see these big dips happening before I know that the bull market is going to happen in a couple of months, we're going to have a move. Guys, it's not time to chicken out now. It's time to double down, buckle up, because this is what we waited for the whole bear market. Now, if it was the bear market, it would just beat us down even longer. But what this is the last psychological aspect before we actually have our big move. And this happens every single time before a massive altcoin season. So that's all we're waiting for. And this volume dictates, look at that, over 14 mil over here, because, the market was just on a steady decline. But then look at this, 50 mil. There's just accumulation happening, just big volume for no reason. These aren't sell-offs and making the price dunk. That's a Bitcoin move to the downside. There's accumulation happening in the market right now, and big money is leaving Bitcoin, and it's going to find a home somewhere. And CKB is 180. So this is the good part about CKB. It moves quickly from 187 in the top 100, even the top 50. So this is why I'm really glad that it went to this price, because I wasn't trying to buy CKB at a cent. I'm really glad I got a chance to buy it under here, because I kind of got in late on CKB, not going to lie. But now I feel like I'm a little bit early. I feel like this is a good accumulation zone. We're starting to see some, accumulation happen. We're not seeing good things in the charts. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you that we're seeing some amazing things happening right now in CKB in the charts. Now, fundamentally, yeah. But, essentially, we've had this giant downtrend that has just kind of wrecked us. But look at that pump CK. This is just what I want to, kind of mention for a second. Look at that one the other day. Just bam, right up there. Right up there. Just let's go. And I'm waiting for it. I'm buying now again, because we could maybe get in down here, back in June. But I think as for now, we might be seeing some kind of a local bottom. I'm really hoping. I don't have anything to back that up as of right now, because the RSI, isn't. If we go back to the last time we were at this point, let's just look where we were right here. So we're actually lower now, which is good. This is actually bullish. I'm starting to see little indicators in the RSI of a changing projection. Yes, see, this is still a downtrend. That hasn't really changed. It is starting, as a double top here, but it is starting to kind of curve up this way. But what I'm seeing is when we move down, the RSI will essentially hammer. It'll go up really fast and then go down slow, go up really fast and then down slow. And that will push this down, but back up. So it'll make it kind of go down, but back up, so that it can keep pushing the price down. And that's what I noticed with the RSI. It'll push it up real quick and then stair step down, because it's over time, right? With the average volume. So essentially what that will do is it'll make it so where it can push the price even lower and keep going lower instead of just going straight down. Now we have to go back up. So what I'm seeing is a shift in that. I'm seeing it to where they're pushing it the opposite way, to where they would push it down really quick and then stair step up, and stair step up and create that longer term liquidity to move up instead of just going straight up. We got to go back down now because we're over bought, or go back up because we're oversold. And that's something I don't know if it's going to continue that way, but that's something that I noticed. They hammer it down. They use that quick up, slow down, quick up, slow down, to really drive that liquidity. And it's more on the smaller time frames that I see that happen. You know what I mean? So you have those big ups and then the stair step down. See the big ups and then like the stair step down. So it just knocks that liquidity to a higher place later, right? So it doesn't have, it still knocks it down, but then when you end up over here, it's at a different place than it was over here. Look, way up here was right here. And that's at what price? 0.00506. And this is what I look at. And then we're up here right now, but the price is 048. So it knocks it down, right? And so, but this is the 1 hour. This might change. It's not really too far off. But as you see, it's at a different level, which is good because it's reversing, right? This level is higher. It's almost the same, but it's starting to reverse now. That was way worse before, where it would be like up here, higher than that at a lower price. So that's what I look at, is those kind of fluctuation. We're starting to see a little bit of bullishness with it. So we'll see. Bitcoin keeps dumping. We could see, I'm actually expecting more pain. I'm not expecting a big move right now. Really not. Because again, I'm starting to see it kind of do the reverse now on this one. I didn't see this one before, but that's kind of starting to reverse on that way. But let's look at the smaller time frames. Now, if we go back over here at this price, look where we were right here, and we're above it. So this isn't good. See where this is way up at this price at, over 506 right here. And then we're at what price now? 480. And look how high it is up here. So it's beating that into the ground, going quickly. I guess it doesn't even have to do with how quickly. I don't know how they do it. It's just the amount of volume, I guess, that beats it down, as well as sometimes it's big pumps up like this. Yeah, so this is where it happened. Okay, I am right about that. So the stair stepper's down, big pump up, stair stepper, big pump up, and then we're higher over here than over here. That's a perfect example. I'm glad I was like, I don't want to look stupid here. But essentially that's what's happening. And you can see this line right here is where we should be. And it's way up here now. Which is actually, is that good? No, because that'll trigger a sell-off up here. So that's bad. So it started, maybe it was a different crypto I was looking at that was starting to turn around. But I swear I saw this yesterday on CKB too. Maybe that was yesterday though. This is the 30-minute. Wait, that was yesterday. Okay, it was yesterday I saw, and look, it did. It kind of, really went up after I saw that change. So those are things I look at. Are we beating this volume up higher so that we can get here and push it down faster? And essentially that is exactly what it does. And that is something I watch and when I'm leverage trading, I watch that. Is it beating it up or beating it down? And I look at different, I'm serious. That is one of the biggest indicators of whether we're going to have a reversal or we're going to be staying actively where we're at, is the amount of the price where it started at a certain price. Look at this one all the way up here. And this is on the 30-minute. Wait, no, that's the same. Here, let's do it on a larger time frame. I want to see if it's true on larger time frames or only shorter time frames. I think it might only be true on the shorter time frames. But maybe I can see it on a macro level. Stair stepper up. See how it goes down like that each time so that you can go higher. So this is just another proof of that. Now essentially look at over here though. So this is a good thing. So this is the example I think I was looking at earlier. So essentially right here, at the price of 0045, we were all the way up here at about 66. We're higher than that now at 0048, and we're down right now at 45. So this means that the price can go much higher now, essentially. So on the macro, on the daily, on the bigger, yes, it works too. And it works very well. And it looks like we're starting to see a recovery. Now, will this go down further first? Yes, this is going to predict a reversal. This is going to tell you when things are starting to dictate we're ready to move. And when we move, we can go up higher because we do have that average amount of being oversold closer to being overbought. So it's very interesting. So I'm also seeing, a weird double bottom right here. And maybe even we could see some sort of like a triple bottom forming right here. It isn't going to be, and it isn't necessarily going to be an inverse head and shoulders, super janky. The neckline's kind of in the way. Sometimes that does play out though, but I think it's going to be more of a triple bottom than anything. But who knows? We could see that play out, but I think it's going to be a triple bottom that plays out instead of anything like an inverse head and shoulders. But like I said, that volume's starting to shift in our favor to where it's not going to be overbought. So there's plenty of money to be made in the market, guys. And as for the shorter time frames, these are the ones that I trade, really. And I trade. Okay, let me be specific. I trade larger time frames, but with lower time frame knowledge. So I have a weird trading style. My trading style uses unconventional methods that really seem to work most of the time for me when I'm leverage trading, especially with things like CKB. I'm starting to learn, a little bit more, but I really use the RSI as a big one. Looking at the MACD, looking at, all of the other different ones, but I'm looking at these lowered. I'll trade like the 4 hours or even the daily or the weekly, but I will be looking for reversals and bottoms. So I'm a real reversal guy, and that's very risky. It's risky if you don't understand those reversal signals. Like right now, I put in a trade prematurely on this one. I'm not going to lie. I made a bunch of money leverage trading when crypto went up right before this dump. And then I got greedy a little bit and lost a little bit of money, but I'm still up. I don't risk everything, but yeah. So anyway, I use these smaller time frames, look for these reversals this big. Are we pounding it into the ground? Are we actually starting to move up? Having, and this looks like it might go down. Just with this 15-minute, I wouldn't put in a trade right now. Because, and it might break out too, but what it's telling me is at these levels over here, we were down here at 44, right here at 44. And now up here, just a little bit higher, we're sitting at what, 60? That doesn't make, and it looks like it's pumping right now. So you're like, oh, let's put it in trade. Well, this is going to get up here and then have to go back down, essentially. So when I see that, I'm not going to be wanting to put in a trade right now. Like even trading on the bigger time frames. I want to look at this one too. See, it'll beat that price down into the ground over here, shoot it way up. Now we're at a higher level than essentially we started up over here even. See, look, we were over here at this level, right here at the same price. So essentially on the 4 hour, they beat it up so that we get closer to that, sell pressure. So, but this, I'm looking to get in a trade right now. So once I see these smaller time frames start to give me that signal, even the 5 minute, because this is the first one that's going to tell you. These smaller ones really have that reversal signal that is gonna help you to leverage trade. And be careful, it's a very big risk to leverage trade. You can lose everything, only experienced traders leverage trade. And essentially this doesn't always work, and I get beat sometimes. But these are some of the things that I use. I try to get bottoms. I look for, levels of support, sell off liquidity areas, sell side liquidity. I'm looking for all of that when I'm trying to learn how to trade. So that we're just doing short-term fun stuff right now. In CKB, we're doing, I'm just leverage trading. I'm essentially treating it as gambling. It's money that I can afford to lose right now. I got bored just buying crypto. It gets boring after a while, just buying crypto, not making a lot of money. So leverage trading, you're making money You're losing money. It's fun. You're looking at the charts. You're, trying to see what liquidity is where, what exchanges are hot right now, what volume is going on, what exchange right now. Is the Korean marketplace on CKB hot right now? Are they going to be putting a lot of money into CKB pretty soon over there in Korea? Those are the things that I want to think about when I'm putting in these trades or buying CKB or putting some in the Nervos DAO. And just becoming part of the network, because that big money does flow in from South Korea, and we see it on Upbit. And so that's something I really be watching, is that volume coming in on exchanges, especially seeing the big pumps that CKB has, and that comes from South Korea. So I'm really looking forward to making some money with CKB. Hopefully I get a couple of successful leverage trades in, start making money, doubling it or whatever, and then putting it back in, trying to do it again. So I do like it when the market is kind of like this, going these big dumps, because essentially I got out of most of my leverage trades before the big dump. I did get liquidated on Cardano. I got liquidated, but it was like a $20 trade. It got liquidated on SUI. Didn't get liquidated on ICP or CKB though. So I don't know how those other ones just liquidate you like that. So I do like trading a little bit more on CKB. Like, it's less brutal. Yeah, the price went down. I'm actually a little bit down on my trade right now, but I didn't get liquidated. If it's only $20, I don't put a stop loss in. If I would trade with more money, of course, I'm going to put a stop loss in and mitigate losses, but I'm betting with $20. I hit 5 leverage trades in a row. I hit SUI, Cardano, ICP. What else did I have in there? Oh, Arbitrum. I don't know why. And Solana. So I hit all 5 of them at once, and they all went up, and I made like $200. I didn't put very much money in that, but I made $200 in like 20 minutes on that trade, and so I lost about 70 of that now. But yeah, we're doing good. I'm having fun in crypto while things are happening. I'm learning about more cryptos because I think some of the features that cryptos have create longevity. So if you guys are like, oh, it does nothing, it's a nothing burger. Well, look at the longevity that actual fundamentally sound technology brings and provides. And I want a crypto, if I'm going to be investing in it, even as a buyer, if I don't care anything about the technology, I at least want a crypto that is going to be around for a while, and having it build these things and seeing the longevity, not only just it being here, but in the metrics and seeing the constant steady growth over years. This is what I look for in crypto, guys, and this is what you should be looking for too. So all of the contact information for CKB and the Nervos network is in the description, guys. Go follow the Nervos Foundation over there on Twitter. Go ahead and go onto the nervosnetwork.org. You can check out all of the stuff that I've been showing you here today. And if you're leverage trading, look out for them liquidity shifts. Look for them hammering that RSI in different ways. To tell you kind of which way the market is heading. I would also use that with reversal indicators in the charts. I combined all of these things together to make my best educational guess on what the price is going to do. And we can always lose, but we do our best. All right, guys, that being said, goodbye and good CKB.